An opportunity today. If you would have come to the early service, the 8:30 service, you could have been at the sunrise, the annual sunrise service that we have once a year. It's good to see you. As always, we get to come together and start the week off right by reordering the loves of our life, worshiping together with our family. If this is your first time here, your first time at this experience, welcome. Glad you're here. We love Jesus. We believe that Jesus saved our lives and want to share that with anyone and welcome anyone to come in. We work very diligently to create environments around here, not only environments in this for adults, but environments that are happening right now for our pre-K and our elementary, and on Wednesday nights for 412 student ministry, and on Tuesday nights for PYA, young adults. We try to create environments that put us or make it easy, leads us to grow. We think everybody, whether the seeker, the veteran, ought to be in a process, always in a process of growth, and want you to be growing as well. I want to be growing. So welcome. I'm glad that you are here. As you saw the video, we're in a building program called Major Move. Many people have asked when Hurricane Harvey came, we still building? Did we put it on hold? And we didn't put it on hold at all. In fact, the only thing stopping us from having construction every single day is the rain. It just won't quit raining. And our next big deal that we have to do is dig a ditch, a long ditch, so that we can connect a water line to the city's water line. But until it quits raining, we can't dig that ditch. So a little over 2 years ago, we as a church launched out in faith, a big step of faith, to raise and to start a capital campaign, the first one that we've ever been involved in, to raise $1.5 million. And so it's been 2 years. You guys held true to your commitments. You were faithful, consistent, still giving towards it. And since that time, we have raised $1,185,998.09. Yeah, that's good. $1,185,998. That is $314,000.91 away from hitting our target. So again, thank you so much. And our contractor tells us that we will be in that new facility by December of this year. Wow, I know, that's what I said. Are you sure? Wow. With the rain like this? So what is so cool, though, is we didn't expect Hurricane Harvey, right? We didn't expect $600,000 to be spent on this facility here to get this to a place where we could meet. And yet, none of the monies that were put aside for Major Move was touched. Nothing was touched in that area. All the money's still there. And, God has been faithful, and our faith has grown. And, by December, we'll have 2 new buildings. What we were going to do is have a new building over there. Then we're going to come back here and gradually, bring this up to par. And we'll have 2 new buildings. And it's exciting. All right. Recently, we have been introduced to 2 new worship songs that I think are, it's rocking my world. It helps reorder the loves of my life. One is Reckless Love. All right, Reckless Love. Anybody like Reckless Love? Sing it today. No shadow you won't light up, no mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. I like that part. You gotta pull that up on YouTube and watch this guy's testimony about why he wrote the song too. You'll find just the one, man. You'll just sit there and it'll fill you with faith. No wall he won't kick down, no lie he won't tear down, coming after me. Just reminds me of Luke 15. The sheep, the shepherd goes to find the one sheep. It's coming after him. I look at the Father looking at the Son, the prodigal son. And I put myself in there and just see, Father God looking after me and coming after me. It's powerful. The other song is So Will I. Right, we just sang that as well. These are 2 songs. I would definitely encourage you to get on your playlist, to listen in the morning on your way to work. When you wake up, it'll help reorder, set your minds in the right place. I love music. Anybody else love music? I love music, and I'm eclectic. I love to get lost in Adele's voice. I love some Bublé. I even like to go back to the 80s and listen to Lionel Richie. My Love and Endless Love, and man, we crank that up as we do the dishes at our house and clean our house, and it's just a great time. I love music, but I love Jesus too. And I love good music that talks about Jesus. And I think it's a powerful combination when you have something, music that can reorder the loves of your life And these are some of the songs that do that. So the song, So Will I, goes like this as it talks about creation. If creation's going to worship you, reflect your character, so will I. It goes, as you speak, 100 billion galaxies are born. In the vapor of your breath, the planets form. If the stars were made to worship, here's the conclusion, so will I. As you speak, 100 billion creatures catch your breath, evolving in pursuit of what you said. If it all reveals your nature, so will I. So if what your creation, if it points back to you, God, I want to do the same. So this past week during our family devos, we were listening to this song and just kind of watching it and singing along. And when it was over, my wife raised the question just to the family, just like, hey, what do you guys think it means to reveal the nature of God? Well, that's a fair question. And that's what I want to look at today. What does it mean for you as a part of God's creation to reveal the nature of God? What would that look like? And how would you go about doing that, right now to your family? So that your family sees you and they can see a little bit, unveiling who God is through your actions. What about at work? What would that look like? What would you do? Your neighborhood or wherever you go. So what does it look like to reveal the nature of God? Theologically, what this is alluding to, or this song is alluding to, is Romans 1:18 through 20. And it goes like this, and I want us to look at this passage of Scripture. It says, for the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. For what can be known about God is plain to them. Why? Well, God has shown it to them. For God's invisible attributes, that stuff you can't see, namely, or specifically, his eternal power, his divine nature. These invisible attributes have been clearly perceived. Even though they're invisible, they're clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world in the things that have been made, so they are without excuse. So what this is saying is that since the beginning of time, even if no one knew who God was or that there was a God, or they weren't taught that there's a God, they could walk out into nature, they would look up at the planets and the stars and the sun, and if they knew about them and how they work and the miracle that they're just suspended in the sky, and there's order there, they would go, oh, this place is huge, like laying down on a hill, looking at the dark sky with the bright stars shining. And you just say, oh, wow, there's a God. That's what this verse is saying, is that people are without an excuse to know that there's the existence of God. But not only can we know that God exists, we can know through creation things about the nature of God, invisible attributes of God. So once again, as we talked about last week, you've got Earth spinning around or rotating 900 miles per hour. This year we're going to be traveling 25,000 miles just on that orbit, or just on that rotation. 900 miles per hour, and then while it's spinning, it's also orbiting the sun at 67,000 miles per hour. And while that is happening, the sun is orbiting around the center of the Milky Way galaxy. And so you've got, the sun is just one of 100 billion stars in the galaxy, and our galaxy is just one galaxy in a minimum of 100 billion galaxies. And we can't wrap our minds around that, but we say, wow, that yells to us, there's a God, there's a supreme designer. But it also yells that, the invisible attribute, this guy must be pretty smart. He must be pretty powerful. He's all-knowing, he's all-powerful. So what is invisible about God to the eye is made known to our minds perceptively through his creation. And that, that's an obvious statement, right? Because we know this, like, can you see wisdom? Do you see wisdom? No, I don't see wisdom. But how do you know if someone's wise? Well, you look at how they live and you make the conclusion. That was a wise investment. They've taken their money and they've been really wise, they've made wise decision with it. Delayed gratification or some type of investment. Or you look at someone and say, they're wise because I've watched them handle relationships over a period of time. You've watched them go through some rocky situations, and you go, man, they're a wise person. quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to make decisions. They're making sound decisions. But how do you know? How do you know if someone's wise? You watch what they do, and you conclude that's a wise person. But you don't see wisdom. That's an invisible attribute of that person. You see it through what they have created. Same thing with loving. You say, there's a loving person. Well, why do you say they're a loving person? Or they're a kind person. Why do you say that person's kind? You see an invisible attribute from the things that they've done. Same thing with being generous. 2 weeks ago, Mark Gibson spoke, and while he was speaking, I was able to kind of run around the church building, observe the different environments. Third service, I was upstairs watching K through fifth grade. And it was 15 to 20 minutes into the service. Service had already began. It was one of those days where it was raining. It seemed like every day. I was looking out the double doors. The double doors look out onto the parking lot. I was just looking at our parking situation, checking it out. And as I was doing that, one of our parking team volunteers ran out. This is 15 to 20 minutes in the service. Ran out from the church with an umbrella and met a family in the middle of the parking lot. I went, yes. I wish I had my phone ready to video this. But I said, I saw his actions, and I saw a little bit about him. I thought to myself, man, this guy's a server. It was Philip Steger. I said, he has a heart to serve. He has a heart to serve. He has a loving heart. He is no one's telling him what to do. He just saw something, and he went out and served somebody. And just as I did that and was about to turn away, another one of our parking team volunteers ran out with 2 umbrellas further than Philip ran out, like he was going to up him, right? It's like, oh no, I'm not going to let you outdo me, outserve me, because I'm here to create an irresistible environment. And he runs out and gives 2 umbrellas to a family. I'm like, oh my goodness, and I have that one on video. That is fantastic. But what I saw from his actions, I was able to conclude the invisible attributes. He's got a heart for God. He's got a heart for people. He loves, he loves to serve. So Romans 1:20 says, for God's invisible attributes, those things you can't see, and he says namely or specifically, his eternal power and his divine nature, they've been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world in the things that have been made. So it emphasizes 2 invisible attributes. And those attributes, his eternal power, which is what he possesses, and his divine nature, that was just who he is. Who is God? What's the nature of God? If you find what that is, then you can say that's what God is. So going back to the song, So Will I, let's look at one particular line in that song. If it all reveals your nature. If the stars are going to reveal your nature, God, I am. The galaxies, I am. Whatever you've created reveals and points back to who you are, I am. And you have probably prayed this before, maybe not using the exact words. If it all reveals your nature, so will I. But you have probably said something like this. If you've been following or pursuing God for any time, God, I want to be a reflection of who you are to my world. In essence, you're saying, I want to reveal the character, I want to reveal the nature of God. God, I want you to shine through me. Or if you said something like this, I want that when people look at me, I want them to see you. What you're saying is, I want to unveil who you are through my actions. I want to reflect you. Shine on me, I'm going to reflect that out. So I want us to peel away some layers on what it would look like for us to reveal God's nature in the daily. What is it going to look like? And specifically, what does it look like for you to reveal God's nature to your family? Both nuclear, extended, in the house, out of the house. What does it look like for you to unveil, pull back covers on the nature of God so that your family can see God, reveal God's nature? What about for your employment, where you work? What would it look like for you to reveal the nature of God to others? Just neighborhood, and we can go on and on. And here's what I'm confident of. I'm sure this is going to have immediate application. Like immediate application. Like now. But it's also going to be challenging. It's going to be extremely challenging. And towards the end, it's just going to kind of like be lump in our throat, swallow. Because it's going to be It's going to be very, it's convicting for all of us. So, all right, first, let's look at the nature, God's nature. Romans 1:20 again, for his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and his divine nature. We're going to look at divine nature. If you would do a search for what is the nature of God, here are just some. This is not a comprehensive list. Here are some of his attributes or his divine nature. He is self-existent, meaning he does not need anyone else to exist. He's okay by himself. He's eternal. No beginning, no end. He's immutable. Not only does he not change, God does not have the ability to change. Omniscient would be all, when I do that, it means you say all-knowing. Omnipresent, you can figure that one out. Omnipotent, all-powerful. Loving and just. So when we talk about being self-existent, God does not need us to exist. Whatever age of earth you subscribe to, whatever date you place on the first person, God predates. Before anything, God was. And while he was doing that without anything else or anybody else around, he was doing okay. He survived. Eternal means there's no beginning, there's no end. Look at Psalms 90 and 2. Remember, he's eternal. No beginning, no end. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever you had formed the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. He's eternal. You're God. So if you say, where is God from? You would say, he's from where? Yeah, where? Well, he's from everlasting. Well, you want to explain that? No, I can't. No, I just tell you, that's what it says. He's from everlasting. Where's he from? Where's he from? He's from everlasting, right? I know this. Before the mountains were brought forth, or he formed the earth, he was there. Right? Now, whatever was before the mountains or the earth, he was there. When there was nothing, he was there. So from everlasting, you'll say, well, where's God going? How long will he be here? Well, it says he's from everlasting, and he's to. Well, what's everlasting? I don't know. I know it's a long time. They say, how did I get that? He's from everlasting. He was here. Who created him? No, he was here. Look, don't think about this too long. Your brain's going to smoke. All right, that's what happened. And that's a good thing. You want your brain to smoke when you think about God. You want to be, that's why it's good to have a little bit of a mystery about who God is. Now, when you look at God's nature of being self-existent, he doesn't need us to exist. He was doing okay before us. He wants us to exist, obviously. He created us. But he's doing okay. You're probably not going to be able to reveal that part of God's nature. Maybe you can. I'm not saying this like being adamant, but like showing that God's self-existence, I don't know how you're going to show that through your actions. It's funny because God doesn't need us to exist. We are very dependent. There was a couple that came to the church and they moved to Houston many years ago, but she used to joke at her husband like, you whine about the smallest little things. You cut yourself, you whine, you sprain your ankle, you whine, you just whine all that. Basically her statement is, her argument was, I've had a baby. Until you have a baby, quit whining. Right, so they had moved off, and I was, just friends on social media, and she posted on there, please pray for BJ. We're calling in hospice. He has a cold. I'm like, oh man. See, because we are dependent, right? We're dependent. We need help. Eternal, from everlasting to everlasting. Immutable. Not only does he not change, he doesn't have the ability to change. So seasons change, times change, your friends change, neighborhoods will change, your face is going to change, your body's going to change. God doesn't change. Psalms 33 and 11 says, the counsel of the Lord stands forever. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. It's just like one day I wake up and I just want to love everybody around me, and the next day I wake up and I just don't want to see anybody else for the rest of the day, right? I don't understand. I just feel like, I'm up and down. Counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. And we could continue going through this list of divine, his divine nature. There are some things that the stars are going to reveal about God, and there's some things the stars cannot reveal about God. So you look up at the stars, and you go, whoever created the stars must be incredibly smart, must be all-knowing. So it can reveal that about God, but what it can't reveal about God, you're not going to look at a star and say, oh, twinkle, twinkle, little star. God is so loving. That's not going to happen, because natural revelation is limited on what it can reveal about God. It's not salvific. It's not going to point towards salvation. But someone who's never heard about God could look at a star and say, there must be a God. But they're not going to learn probably or know about God's love. In the same way with us, there's some things about God that we're not going to be able to reveal. We change all the time. So we're not going to be able to reveal that he's not changing in a technical sense. Or that, I know some of us think we may be all-knowing, but we just cannot, there's some things we don't know, or that we're all-powerful. But, so what we have to ask ourselves, if we're going to say, if it all reveals your nature, so will I, what part of God's nature are we going to reveal? And what part of God's nature can you reveal? There's a scripture in Matthew 5:16, it says, let your light shine before others, so that they can see your good works. And then what are they going to do? They're going to give glory to your Father in heaven. Let them watch your good works, but not that their attention is drawn to you, but let them give glory to your Father in heaven. Let me read it again slowly. Let your light shine before others, so they see your good works. But you give glory, but they give glory to your Father in heaven. Now, what can we reveal? We can reveal the love of God. We can reveal the nature of God that we call love. And I think that when we do, it will be transformative. And the world is curious about the love of God. And the world is kind of skewed about the love of God as they, as the world suppress the truth. Because it's like this right here. You want to reveal the love of God. You say, God, I want to show the world who you are. So what I want to do is I want to take the cover that the world has on you, and I want to pull it back so people can see you. Now, the way they're going to do that, Matthew 5:16, is they're going to see my works, my actions. But my actions aren't going to force people to look at me or be impressed with me. They're going to see my actions and give you glory. Are we tracking on this? We have to track. If we can't track on this, the rest of this is not going to make sense. So what I'm wanting to do is I want to take this cover of the curious world of people going, I wonder what God's like. Here's what people's always told me about God. God's so loving. And tomorrow, when I go to work, or today when I'm with my family, I want to live in such a way that takes the cover off of God that the world's put on God, so that they can see the nature of God, because I want to reveal. If creation's going to reveal your nature, I'm going to reveal your nature. Well, how are you going to reveal your nature, his nature? Through your actions, through your behavior. And so, it's just like, I'm sure you're curious. I would be curious if I was sitting there. You're curious as to, what's under here. Just as the world is curious as to who God is. But if we don't take the cover off, because I'm not going to take the cover off, because I want us to wonder, and I want us to know what the world feels when they sit and wonder about God. And every interaction that you have, every single interaction that you have with somebody is an opportunity to go, let me reveal who God is to you. Let me show you the love of God. There are some parts of God's nature you're not going to be able to reveal. But the transformative part about his nature, one of the transformative parts of his nature is that he's a God of love, is something that we can reveal. And it's a broad topic. You talk about the love of God. In the next 2 weeks, I promise you, and I don't say this stuff, I promise you, you do not want to miss the next 2 weeks as we talk about God's love nature and how we can live that out. But one unmistakable way to demonstrate the love of God is through the way that you've experienced the love of God, and that is through His grace. So if I ask you, how do you know that God loves you? You would point back to the act of Jesus on the cross, one of them. I say, how have you experienced God's love? I mean, how do you know God loves you? How has God's love, like how did the cover come off of God and you knew that God was love? You experienced that. And you would say, through the person of Jesus, by His act of grace. You know that God's love because of the grace that you've been given. Again, I want us to track on this. You know that God loves you because He has given you grace. Romans 5:8. But God shows His love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. God shows His love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. You didn't earn it. The song says you didn't earn it. You don't deserve it. Therefore, that means His goodness towards you is grace. Grace is undeserved kindness. If you deserve kindness and you get kindness, that's not grace. You've earned it. You deserve it. Grace is, as people say, it's unmerited favor, unmerited kindness. It's something that we didn't deserve. Ephesians 2:1-9 says it so well. And you were dead in trespasses and sins in which you once walked, following the course of this world, following the prince, the power of the air, the spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience, among whom we all once lived in the passions of our flesh, carrying out the desires of the body and the mind, and were by nature children of wrath, like the rest of mankind. But God, being rich in mercy because of the great love with which He loved us, even when we were dead in our trespasses, He made us alive together with Christ. And it's by grace. It's by grace. You have been saved and raised us up with Him. And He seated us with Him in the heavenly places in Christ Jesus, so that in the coming ages He might show the immeasurable riches of His grace in kindness towards us in Christ Jesus. For by grace, right, that's what I'm saying, one of the best ways we have of showing the love nature of God, there's a lot of ways. One of the best ways is through grace. It says, by grace you've been saved through faith. This is not your own doings. You're saying you didn't earn it. It is the gift of God. It's by grace you've been saved. You didn't do it. It's a gift, not a result of works, so that no one can boast. Because a gift is something that's not earned, it's not deserved. But you're not going to go to your boss this week after they pay you, say, thank you so much for that gift. You put the time in. You deserve it. You earned it. But let them put in about $20,000 that you didn't earn. Anybody up for that? Be all right with you? You're going to their office and say thank you for the gift because you didn't work for it. You didn't earn it. You can't give what is deserved. When someone's nice to you and you're nice back to them, that's not a gift to them. Anybody does that. A gift only comes, grace only comes when it's not deserved. It says, if it all reveals your nature, so will I. Now, can we agree God's grace is what changes us? Can we agree God's grace is what changes us? It's what moved me. It's still what moves me. It is still what changes me. Can we agree that showing grace to other people is an incredible way to pull back the covers of who God is? Showing grace to other people is an incredible way of pulling back the cover on a part of the nature of who God is. We all want it. The world wants it. Now, here's where the rub is. We know we've received grace. We know we need to give grace. But revealing this part of God's nature, His love, and revealing that through grace is only possible when someone makes a mistake or when someone hurts you or someone offends you or someone sins against you or betrays you or talks dirty about you or mean about you or gossips about you or goes behind your back or does something that cuts. Because the only way that you can have grace, the prerequisite for grace is an offense. Because grace is undeserved favor and kindness. And you can't give undeserved kindness or favor if there hasn't been an offense. So if we think the best way to show the love of God, the best way that we know the love of God is that His grace covered a multitude of sins. And that when we were a sinner, God demonstrated His love for us, that He would give His life when we didn't deserve it. And because of that, that's what washes over us today. That's the songs we sing about. We're amazed by grace. We'll even put that in songs to talk about grace because it doesn't make sense. Because, God, why would you forgive me when I was a sinner against you, when I was offending you, but you would send Jesus to come, and Jesus wouldn't be concerned about Himself, but He would look far enough down the road to say, no, Reggie Lloyd needs a Savior. I'll lay down my life for him, even when he's a sinner and he's offending me. So that's the moments in these worship services that washes over me and makes me want to go out of here and serve God with everything that I have, because I'm like, why would you do that? I don't deserve it, but I'm so glad you did. That's the clearest picture of love, the nature of love, God's love nature, that could ever be painted for me. So what is the clearest picture? If we want, as the stars reveal your nature, and we go, I want to reveal your nature. If they do it, so will I. Well, how do you want to reveal love? The way that you reveal love is by giving grace. And you can't give grace unless it's undeserved. And you're not going to want to. There's going to be some things that, let me say, your flesh is going to kick against it, and you're going to say, I don't want to. And then there's a part of you that can get to a place where your spirit says, oh, but I want to. I've been the recipient of it. I want to share it. I want to give. So an offense, just by definition, for grace to exist, before the word grace could even be defined or come along, like before there could even be a word grace, there had to be the word offense. Sometimes the greatest opportunity for you to show the nature of God is through a time of conflict, in a time of hurt, because they're going like this. I don't deserve you to be nice to me. Give it to me. Come on, just give me what I deserve. Punish me. Sever the relationship. Move offices. Talk bad about me. Go ahead, get on social media, do your thing. I did it myself. And when you sit down and you look at them like Jesus looked at us, you go, no, 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 no. Love covers a multitude of sins. And you say, you know what? Yeah, it hurt me. It does hurt. It hurt my family. It hurt what went on. But I'm not going to make you pay it. I've been in that situation too. I've made dumb decisions. I have had lapses of judgment. I've let my emotions take over. I know what it's like to be in that situation. It's happened to me. I'm not going to make you pay. I want to give you grace. And when you do that, the moment you do that, they're going to know that you're getting some help, because you're not that good. And I'm not that good. But what you've done when you get to that place is you said, do you want to see God? You don't deserve it, but you want to see God? Here you go. And you start by the way that you're responding. You're listening to them. They don't deserve you to listen to them. You're including them. You're forgiving them. They don't deserve that, do they? No. What you're doing is you're giving grace. And that whole time, you're going like this. You're pulling the covers back, not on who you are, but on the nature of God. Conflict is an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity for you to die to yourself and to say, it's not me. You increase, I'll decrease. It's your will, not my will. And I guarantee you it can be, and it's no promises, but it can be one of the most powerful moments the other person will ever have in their life. And the reason why I know it, because the time that I've been given grace by my parents, by my wife, by my children, by my God, have been some of the most powerful moments where I go, why would they even do that? Why would they do that? And it makes me not want to just give grace because I have to. It makes me want to give grace to other people because I have been given grace and I have plenty to share. And if you stay connected to the grace of God in your life and you realize how good God has been to you, that is our best way to be able to give the same to other people. You're not going to be able to wake up in the morning and say, okay, today you're a winner, you're special, doggone it, I like you, you're gonna win this day, and you're going to go out and give grace to everybody. No, it's not that. I don't have it in myself. I'm so dependent upon that big channel of love that flows from God, staying connected to the vine so that what comes from Him can flow through me, because I need what's in Him. But if I stay connected to Him, if I stay connected, increases the likelihood that what He's given me can be given to others, no matter what. And you think, man, that sounds like a crucifixion. That sounds like, Ray, you're asking me to crucify myself. Kind of what God asked Jesus to do. I just want you to go down there and be crucified, pay the sin payment. Yeah. So I don't want to twist this thing and leave it on the side of trying to manipulate and use that as leverage and go, okay, he did it and I ought to do it. No, that's religion. That's religion. It's more like, oh my goodness, I'm overwhelmed by this thing that He's done for me, and I want to. Not because I have to. I want to. So, I want you to think of someone that may need to see God, the nature of God, through your actions, through grace. Who is somebody right now that you know that most have given up on? They'll never make it. Who's somebody that repeatedly, they make their bed and they lie in it. They make their bed and they lie in it. They just discount it. I don't know. Who do you need to listen to? Like, I'm talking about listen to when they talk. Like, yes, I'm present. Because no one else will listen to. You want to reveal the nature of God? You want to show love? You want to show people not who you are, but who God is? Give them grace. And if you're going to err on anything, err on grace. I would rather regret giving too much grace to my family, to my friends, to you, than one day live with myself knowing that I would just shut the door right in your face. You have an opportunity to show the love of God to our world through grace. Amen. We need God's help. Let's pray. God, you are so good to us. To not get what we deserve, you are a good God. To sacrifice your Son, you are a good God. Your grace and your mercy really are overwhelming. God, may we be so in touch by your grace over us, that we will want to give that grace to anyone in need. Not so that they'll be impressed with us, but that they could see who you are. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Everybody said,